Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first, hopefully not the last, of Hypnotic's Hypotheticals. With me, your host, Hypnotic, or Levi Doherty. So, today, the only hypothetical that's on my mind, at least, is what would have happened if Covid-19 had never happened. The world would have been in a much better place, that's for sure. But more specifically, at least in my discipline, the radio industry, from what little I saw of it, at least local radio, it's been an upwards climb, that's for sure. Because they're not able to acquire the revenue like they used to, and able to do all the events that actually bring in most of the viewership for the station. As in, football games have been up in the air because everyone is in the red around here. All the counties are in the red. Or at least, slowly but surely they're going down, I think. But it's still up in the air whether or not the normal football season and baseball season and all that, or at least especially the football season, can actually go on like it used to. It's very difficult to see these men struggle. These men who have worked up their entire lives in this industry, in this one place, and they've never had something like this happen. It's kind of put a stunt in their industry, you know. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's the same for everywhere, for every local radio station, or especially even the big radio stations. I'm sure they have ways around this, but for local radio, it's hurting, that's for sure. But even still, that's a line of communication that we have open for people to listen to nowadays, and for things like this, like we have radio waves and we have the internet waves, I guess. These kinds of pleasures that we have nowadays, especially, it really help things out in more ways than one, that's for sure. I also think if COVID-19 never happened, then everyone's mental health would definitely be much better. Mine for sure. But like I said, it's hard to see those guys struggle, and it's hard to see their livelihoods kind of break apart a little bit, you know? The same goes for a lot of other people that can't do things like they used to because of COVID. Myself included. I had opportunities earlier this year to do some phenomenal things with my hobbies. I have been a Super Smash Bros. Player, competitor in the scene for going on 12 years now. I've been playing Smash Bros. Competitively, quote unquote competitively, since I was 10 years old. So it's a huge part of my life. It's a huge part of my personality, a huge part of how I grew up and who I am. And I was a figurehead up in the Northern Kentucky / Cincinnati Smash scene. I was the tournament organizer for NKU Smash tournaments for the esports team. And it was a very humbling thing to have a group of people who, you know, not necessarily idolized me, but they thought pretty highly of me. They came to me with their problems, and they talked to me like I was important to them. And there was going to be an opportunity in mid-March, late March, where we were going to have this big collegiate event, Battle of the Border, with UC in Miami, NKU, in Louisville probably. We had all this planned out, but then COVID hit, and it all fell through, and didn't see another message from that dang group chat. And then some outside things from Nintendo, especially recently, just kind of putting a knife in the Smash scene's back, just pretty much saying that they never really cared about our community or what we made. And to be part of that scene for so long and to have seen it grow, even from the even from the late period that I started. Like the Smash scene has been going on since like in 2002, 2003. But I looked into the history from a young age, and I got ingrained into the culture so quickly and so easily. It felt like it was my place to be. And now I'm really at a loss when it comes to finding a new community. All I got is my voice, and hopefully through these kinds of things that I'm doing right now, I'm able to reach out and find new people, touch a few new hearts, maybe. That's all I really want. That's the real reason I'm getting into this discipline to begin with, is to share my thoughts and ideas with the world. I mean, I don't think I'm that profound or anything, but I'd like to think I have a good head on my shoulders, and I like to think I have good advice for people. Good life advice, a good way to live. I have ideals that are set in stone with my life, and I'm going to follow through with them, and I just want to share them with the rest of the world. Especially nowadays when a lot of people seem or feel like they're directionless. I mean, even still, like, I can't say that I'm completely set in stone with what I want to do with my life. I mean, I have doubts every now and again that this is the right path for me, that if I chose the right thing to pursue, but second guessing myself is not going to do anything good for anyone. I'm going to be confident in who I am as a person from now on, especially since I'm graduating this in 3 days now from when I'm recording this. It feels unreal, man. Going back to radio for a moment, I'm not 100% certain with myself that if local radio is especially something that I'm wanting to do. At least here in Danville, because all we have is sports radio. We're a big sports town. And I'm not a big sports guy. Especially I'm sitting behind the computer, behind the mic. I'm not a labor intensive kind of guy. I mean, I can go for that, obviously, if I have to. But it's not really my cup of tea. Hopefully in the near future, maybe I can change that, especially with my pup. If I didn't have my dog Paisley, if we haven't gotten her during this time, things that would have been a much, much rougher for me and my family, at least, especially mentally and our relationships. Because I love them, I love all these people to death in my family, my mom, my brother, my dad, my stepmom, stepsis, they all mean so much to me. But especially my mom and my bro. I've been living with them mainly here recently. And it's tough. It's tough being around the same two people for so long and not have arguments, not have things get heated every now and again. And sometimes we kind of just explode on each other every once in a while, but thankfully it all comes back together afterwards. But it's those few moments that really it tears me down still sometimes, and makes me realize that even though I love these people, it wasn't really my choice to love them, you know? I kind of want someone in my life, or I need someone in my life who can ground me in ways that they can't, you know? That I can choose to accept them, to allow them into my life. They choose to accept me into their lives and have something blossom further from that. I mean, we're social creatures, right? Like, we all need that interaction with people, that intimacy. We all desire that as humans. It's a human desire. And trying to fulfill that, especially nowadays, especially during COVID, it's impossible, man. I mean, maybe this is another way I can do that. I can get my sultry tones out there for some young lark to come calling. Don't know how how that could work out, but maybe I can impress someone. I don't know. That's the dream, right? I'm not for certain if I'm even exactly wanting to go into the radio business and maybe go into some sort of other broadcasting business. Like, it'd be awesome if I could do something like Twitch, because I mean, I'm a gamer. I'm going to admit it. It's nothing that it's part of me. I am a video game player, and it's something that I have enjoyed way too much for way too long. But it still gives me peace. It gives me peace of mind. It gives me an outlet to put all those pent up frustrations in every now and again, and lets me get lost in these crazy and creative worlds that people make up. And if I'm somehow able to use that passion of mine and actually make a living out of it, that would be phenomenal for me. That would be the perfect job for me, probably. But that kind of build up that one has to make and actually to make a living out of Twitch, it requires a lot of marketing, a lot of confidence in yourself, and a lot of personality. And I feel like I'm a little lacking in 2 of those 3 areas, sadly. But that's neither here nor there. If I want to make that a possibility, or if I want to make that the reality, I'm going to have to change some things, and I'm more than willing to put in that effort. Until then, though, I'm definitely going to have to find something to bide my time. Not really certain where that's going to be just yet. We're going to worry about finishing off this week first. Taking one day at a time, man. That's all everyone's been doing, I think. That's all we can do. Trying to look into the future nowadays is like looking into the foggiest crystal ball you can think of. I'm not even going to think. I'm not even going to get into the political side of things looking ahead. Been trying my best to stay away from Twitter, from Facebook, from all the quote-unquote negative social medias, or the ones that bog down my brain the most. I got Twitter to keep up with my Smash friends. But now there's no reason to have it if I can't see them, you know? I think that now, more than ever, we as a race of people, as a species, you know, really need to just... It's simple, but I don't know how feasible it could be. We just need to put aside our differences and just work towards this common goal. You know, that we've never in our immediate history, at least mine, that we've been able to say that we're fighting for the same cause. And it tears me apart inside that people nowadays are just at each other's throats because of the individual choices that we've been making. Like, I think, like I said, I really didn't want to get political, but that's the only thing I'm going to say. If we had a higher power keeping us together, keeping us on the same page about this thing, about this virus, about what we should do with it and how we should go about it, if we had a higher power that was competent enough to properly deal with this and tell us what to do, give us an overarching ideal of how to go about it, then we wouldn't be where we are right now. We'd be on the road to recovery rather than sinking deeper and deeper into this hole, into this gross hole that we found ourselves in as a nation. We'd be on the road to where Australia, New Zealand, Japan, all these other countries that have dealt with the coronavirus properly, we'd be right there with them on the up and up. But because that responsibility has been passed down to the individual because we had no upper power leading us, then we've been getting angry at each other because of the choices that we've been making, whether people have been going out, not wearing masks, or going to restaurants much more often, or anything like that. Like, we shouldn't bash each other for the choices that we make, really. I mean, just me as a humanitarian kind of person, I'm not one to point out people's flaws or point out bad decisions people make, because that's just not the kind of person I am. But that's all I see nowadays. It's just we're ridiculing each other and we're tearing each other apart rather than fighting for the same cause. We're just not all on the same page because we've all been going about this differently. We need a voice, a proper voice, to lead us properly, to tell us that we're doing wrong and we need to do better, and here is how we do it. We need someone or a group of people to just come out and just lead us properly. Because right now we're leaderless. And it feels like we're almost directionless at this point. Especially in some parts of the country. Especially with places where there have been more and more spikes in the bigger cities. Our industrialized age has kind of come back to bite us a little bit. Because of how conglomerated all the big cities are, and all the metropolitan areas around. It's very difficult to control something like the spread of the coronavirus in a place like that. Thankfully, where I am, I'm out in the country, fairly country at least, and I can keep my distance relatively easily. Because I don't really have that many neighbors, especially out here where with my dad, we live out in Houstonville, Kentucky. It's really nice and remote, and not a sound to be heard out here, really. But still, we're still in the red. It's so scary to think about that even a small rural place like this isn't safe. Completely safe anyway. But I've been doing my part, staying inside, even though here soon, I'm going to be getting a job, going out into the real world again. I'm kind of using this project as a self-motivator in a way. And as a way to prove to myself that maybe I can do some kind of podcast like this. Maybe I do have the personality and the social skills for this, even though I'm not 100% certain that this is it for me. Been taking a lot of pauses, but you won't be knowing that because I'm going to be editing this. So yeah. But going forward, I'm gonna just do my best to put one foot in front of the other and just move on the best way I can. I'm gonna keep my family close, keep my friends closer, and go into 2021 with a brighter and more positive outlook on myself and on my future. Despite everything that's going on, I'm gonna try my damnedest to keep a level head about things, better my mental health, change some habits in myself, just make myself the best I can be for not anyone but myself, because Lord knows I need it the most. I need the respect and the backing of myself, because if I don't have my own back, then I don't think anyone else will. So yeah, that's been the first Hypnotic's Hypothetical with me, Hypnotic, aka Levi Darty. Thanks for listening, especially you, Tracy. And I will see you all or hear you all later. Levi out.